thought. As a monster. I turned away, nodded to the medic, who drew the sheet back over the man's mutilated face. Ex-soldier, surely. I thought both Gulf Wars were officially over, that you and your people were here simply in, how did you once put it, a clean-up capacity. For a second, he stilled, and I knew he remembered those words. They were his own repeated back at him from our first encounter years before. Another country, another time. We had parted with a grudging respect for one another that I had not mistaken for friendship. His lips widened into a mirthless smile, but when he spoke, his voice was cold. Reminding me of my roots, are you, Miss Fox? Trying to rub it in that the last time we met I was in charge of a bunch of glorified security guards, trying to bring a degenerate sink estate in the north of England to heel? Not at all. I waited a beat. They didn't have enough finesse to be security guards. He grunted. I eyed the pair he had standing just outside in the corridor, a man and a woman. Like Garton Jones, they wore tan cargo pants and black polo shirts with the Streetwise company logo on the left sleeve. But the equipment strapped on top was all high-grade military spec, and from their eyes, their hands, their stance, I judged this was not their first time at the fair. I didn't recognize the faces, but I knew the look all the same. I made a mental note not to turn my back on any of them. I shifted my gaze pointedly back to Garton Jones, more like glorified thugs. The lines around his eyes tightened minutely. Well, I seem to recall that you were little more than an interfering do-gooder, whose only income derived from prancing around in a leotard part-time at the local gym. It was no lie that I'd been drifting in those days, still lost after the army. But the gym where I'd worked had been more spit and sawdust than leg warmers and aerobics. I'd nearly died there, and again when Garton Jones's heavy-handed methods had turned that degenerate sink estate into a battleground. But I smiled back, mainly because I knew it would annoy him, especially when we were both aware he had been asked to afford me every courtesy. And yet here we are, Ian, both of us. Who'd have thought it? He gave another grunt that could have meant anything or nothing, and turned on his heel, jerking his head in a kind of universal follow-me gesture. I took my time complying, let my eyes roam over the shrouded figure one last time. "Rot in hell, Clay," I murmured. "You earned your place there." And I walked out of the morgue without looking back. Garton Jones was waiting for me a little farther along the corridor, impatience apparent in the set of his shoulders. The couple flanked him like a pair of sphinxes. The bare blockwork wall showed more expression than their faces. In the entrance to the building, they paused just long enough to slip on their wily anti-ballistic sunglasses. Oh yeah, they had all the right toys. They did a vehicle check on the Streetwise up-armoured SUV before waving us out. It was showy and unnecessary in my view. One look at the group of street kids who crowded round them with outstretched hands should have been enough to tell them that nobody had planted any nasty surprises. Otherwise, those kids would have stayed well outside the blast radius. You grow up fast and canny in southern Iraq, or you don't grow up at all. Maybe the performance was for my benefit, or rather because the two of them knew I worked for the prestigious Armstrong Meyer private security agency in New York and hoped I might be talent spotting. Just in case, each had their name helpfully embroidered into their shirt above the left nipple, complete with blood type. Tasteful. Out in the street, it was 104 degrees Fahrenheit, the kind of dry bone heat that sucks the spit off your tongue and cracks your lips in the space between heartbeats. The SUV had dark glass all round, but even with the aircon going full blast, for the first few minutes it was like sitting inside a fan-assisted oven. I'd studied the maps of Basra before I landed in neighbouring Kuwait only 24 hours ago. I knew we should have been heading nominally south, even allowing for a circumspect route. It was now just past noon, local time.